megabase time. I will be the first to admit that I am not exactly a megabase person. I'm not exactly just, in general, a big build person, because I get overwhelmed, and that doesn't go well. But yes, this season I will be doing a megabase. Kind of. Ignoring the base part. I will be doing something kind of mega. It will be a big build. It will take all season. That's the goal. That's kind of like... One of the problems I have with megabase, just one of the problems in general, is that it means I need to leave my starter base behind. No. I am not leaving my snail. I am not leaving Jimmy Bob Bartholomew II. I'm not doing it. I do, however, like the idea of just, working on a big project. So, I'm mega basing, but in only the vaguest sense of the word, because, mega might be a little big for me, and also, base, I'm not moving into the base. No, I'm living here, I'm living in Jimmy Bartholomew II, that's how it is. And also, maybe now isn't the best mega base, given that I still have all of my backyard to clean up, but it is what it is, and I'm excited about it, so we're gonna do it. Last episode, we built this shop, Cerberus's Heads, which is my head shop, and it's great, and I love it, and yes, we're gonna name the Cerberus, but I gotta give people more time to present names if they want to, so it's not gonna happen right now. But anyway, yes, Cerberus's Head's my wonderful shop, and I ended that episode, talking about how, not hiding anything, and nothing is hidden here, and those are both true statements, if you want to be, a little sly about your understanding of language, and you want to focus on the thing part of it, because yeah, I'm not hiding anything. I'm hiding a place. Welcome to the passage to the Underworld. I won't be showing off the entrance on camera because the Underworld awaits those who would find it, but somewhere in my shop, somewhere in Cerberus's Heads, somewhere, there's an entrance to the Underworld. And you might be thinking, Corn, what's the Underworld? And aside from being my long-term, season-long project, the Underworld is the seedier underbelly of the shopping district, where things are a little bit shady, and yes, you can get what you want, but everything has a price. Here we are in this black space so I can talk about vibes and inspiration, because I don't have a ton of concrete plans right now, but I do have vibes and I do want to credit inspiration. So yes, the Undercity from Arcane, oh my gosh, that was iconic. I don't think I can do that. I personally don't think I can do that. But the vibes were great. I really, really like it, and that is a major inspiration. Another major inspiration is, of course, Greek mythology, because we're doing the Underworld, we got the Cerberus above. There have been some talks of maybe a river Styx, if everyone can get their plans together, and so that is also a major inspiration, because Greek mythology, it's a classic. And then the last piece of inspiration I'm going to majorly credit is the Misadventures SMP, for, their NPCs and how they are actual characters who you can interact with. I also can't do that, because, vanilla plus Minecraft. But I really like the story behind it, and I want to lean into that hard. So those are the vibes, and that's my inspiration, and you can kind of maybe get the picture of what I want the Underworld to be. Right now, though, the Underworld is just this. Big empty cave, not a ton of space. Admittedly, no torch spam, but that's because I went through, and after torch spamming, replaced everything with glow lichen, so it is all spawn safe for a while. But it is not giving the vibes I want. I want the ceiling to feel cavernous. It's a big word, it's a big adjective. I want this to be farther above the ground, so I'm thinking we need to drop the ground. Even though I love the spikes, I love it, we need to drop the ground by 2 or 5 or 10, maybe even 20 blocks, just to make it feel bigger. And I'm not going to actually get rid of any of the spikes in the ground, I'm just gonna lower everything, hopefully while, maintaining the same ground. So we'll see how that works. Long story short, that strategy just did not work. I tried it for a bit, which is not pictured here. Pictured here is me just absolutely tearing out the ground. I tried it, and I kept losing where I was, so I was digging some areas way lower than others. And I was only doing it for a little bit, so I was able to pretty much put everything back where it had been, and then I decided, you know what, I'll fix it later, just time to clear everything out, so that's what I'm doing. I did the digging in 2 big sections. First, I cleared everything out, and then, I dropped the ground. In the initial clearing out, I did drop the ground a little bit, but the majority of the ground droppage and the majority of the depth that it eventually got to, I think it's 11 blocks from where it used to be. I'm gonna say a different number in the future, but it's 11, I counted. So the 11th block difference mostly comes in the second diggy part. In total, I was digging for, a little over 2 hours. But that's not how long I spent down here. Oh no. The digging is just the beginning. Because all of this stuff that I've torn out and I'm lowering the floor, I'm gonna need to put it right back. So, I've done a bit of digging. And by a bit of digging, I mean, this is where we're at. It's much lower, which is what I was going for. However, I really have just torn out all of the interesting spiky bits, which is unfortunate. And which means my next job, having lowered it significantly, I think it was 7 blocks, but when I started lowering it, I was like, how deep am I gonna deep this? And then I just kept going. And I've even added some of the layers back. But yeah, my next job is to add all the spiky bits. And these are just shoulders full of everything I've dug out. This is all deep slate. Yep, so don't know when I'm gonna use that. This one is tough, this one is stone, they're not full. Then we've got a full one of dripstone stuff, and a not full one of dripstone, so that'll be useful for re-spiking the caves. And then just the rest of this stuff, because funny enough, there's a slime chunk down here. I don't know where, actually, but slimes spawn here, and I think that is gonna make a wonderful little piece of character, for the street. Update. I've gone ahead and I've put in some floor things. Originally, as you probably saw in the time lapse, I was making the entire floor dripstone, but something looked off, and when I checked it against, what it used to look like, I was like, wow, yeah, no, there were giant deep. I'm gonna need to fix that block. There were giant deep slate patches. So though both of those blocks are in wrong. But anyway, we've got some things. Now what we're missing, according to what it used to look like, is the spikes, and some water features. So I'll just add those in, and we'll be all set. Fun fact that's probably only fun to me, that water feature by the ender chest, like the big one, that was one of the cave's original water features that I kept because I liked it, and also because it was the spot that when I found this cave, I dropped down into that water feature and did not get skewered. So thank you, water feature. And after a great deal of work, it's done. For right now, at least. I have re-spikeified it. It is spiky. It is going to be a little bit dangerous to jump down now. All of my stuff is right there. I have so many materials from this because, gosh, I knew I was digging, but I didn't realize I was digging gives you a lot of materials. A lot of deep slate, 6 shulkers full of just deep slate. But I re-spikeified it. That's what I was talking about. And that's pretty good. It looks better. It looks spookier. It definitely looks better than it was. Honestly, I'm not sure if it looks as good as it did the first time. But then again, I really did need to dig it down so that I have enough space to work with. And you might be thinking, Corn, why do you need space to work with? How much space are we talking? Why are we talking we need space to work? I thought you said you don't do big builds. And I don't. You're right. But I am going to try building a couple of tall things. Not this episode. I have spent a lot of time this episode digging. I think I can manage a small build, but that's probably about it. But yeah, I've got plans. And plan number 1, is to get down safely. I did not land on the spike, so that counts. And then get all of this stuff back home. Which I'm gonna probably take all the shulkers and then I'll come back for all of that too. Woo.
One debt to society later.
Okay, so remember how I said I could maybe do a small build, but nothing more? Yeah, forget about that entirely, because we're gonna be doing some building. We're gonna be building buildings because that makes me terrified and not want to do it, so the best way to get around not wanting to build buildings and being afraid of building buildings is just building buildings. Wow, I said building buildings so many times. But anyway, yes, I'm going to be building some buildings. This is not my specialty. This is not what I like doing. This is really outside my comfort zone. But I'm going to do it because I cannot have a city without buildings. And if I can't even build a building right now, how am I going to have a city? A city has so many buildings in it. I have to start somewhere. They don't have to be good. I'm kind of just going to be slapping blocks down and not doing detailing because I enjoy detailing. I would let myself get distracted with detailing and interiors forever, but that's not the point. The point is I am building buildings. Even though it's scary to me. I'm just going to be slapping some blocks down. Maybe I'll tear it all out later, but I will at least have built something. I will have built a building. There will be progress visually, and maybe I can use it as a thumbnail. So roll the time lapse. so I made 2 boxes with roofs. No entrance, because, you know, I'm me, and I could never put an entrance into a build. Why would I ever think to do that the first time around? But also no details, so like the entrance bit, the door bit doesn't really bother me as much because I knew I wasn't gonna do much, like actual... They're flat boxes, and that was what I was going for, and I have built some flat boxes, and now, hopefully, I make them not flat boxes, and I make them look nice. And then, maybe, depending on how much energy I have left, maybe I even think about what the boxes are going to be. But first I need to make them look less like boxes and more like buildings. So windows, doors, things outside. We got this. And that's the finished buildings. You'll note that I've done a little bit extra with this one. Like I went in and I stuck an armor stand with a giant gold ingot. That's because I'm thinking this one is going to be a pawn shop. It's going to buy and sell gold. And I'm very pumped for it. Because, I mean, who would run a pawn shop other than a piglin? And of course, if they go to the overworld, they're going to be zombified. So there's an entire story arc there that I can't wait to just dive into. I haven't touched the interior. But I want to so bad. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so much fun. We can dig it back as much as we want. It's gonna be great. And then this one over here, I'm thinking some kind of food store that maybe it's a little bit on, you know, not so good, rotten food, I don't know. I've got some plans for it. I'm thinking I'm gonna call it unsavory. You know, like unsavory characters, but also savory as in the thing you eat. So unsavory, and we've got this pawn shop. Oh, and pro tip, just to be talking about. You might notice that the windows look a little bit dingy and stuff, and kind of grubby. That's because it's brown glass. I stole that from Minecraft. If you've ever found, like, an abandoned village, then you'll note that they have brown glass in the windows. It's one of the places where brown glass naturally generates. They have brown glass in the windows instead of clear glass or white glass or whatever glass. And it makes it look just a little bit dirtier, and that is totally the vibe that I'm going for, you know. Bars on the windows, a little bit dirty, you know. I tried to make, with this building, you know, it to look like it was kind of like smeared stains all over it. This one's a little more held together, but like I tried to use the mud brick to make it look like it was crumbling a bit. You know, I have just had, honestly, a lot of fun with this. Like, yes, it's building buildings, and that's not technically my thing, but I've enjoyed it a bit. Which I guess is a good omen towards building a city, because I'm gonna need a lot more buildings for it to qualify as a city. But yeah, I think that's where we're gonna leave it for now. Well actually, the last thing I'm gonna show you is the entrance to the city, because it's pretty cool now that you can go and jump on top of the building and then jump down. So that's the last thing I'm gonna show you, and that's gonna be all for today. Once again, I'm not gonna be showing the entrance, but I'll give you at least a sound hint this time. Ready? Let's go. Just go down through here. And it begins.